ידיד נפש אב הרחמן, ידיד נפש אב הרחמן, משוקתך, ארץ שונאך, משוקתך, ילה לה 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 לה, ארץ שונאך. יעוץ עבדך כמו יעל, ישתקווה אלי, ילה לה 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 לה, אמוך דרך. ידיד נפש אב הרחמן, ידיד נפש אב הרחמן, משוק עבדך, ארץ שונאך, משוק עבדך, ילה לה 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 לה, ארץ שונאך.
Page 131, Shiru Ladonai.
Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Barsu Me'om Le'om Yeshuato. Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Barsu Me'om Le'om Yeshuato. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Barsu Me'om Le'om Yeshuato. Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Barsu Me'om Le'om Yeshuato.
Towards the bottom of the page, Yismachu Hashamayim.
Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, u'mela'o. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, u'mela'o. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, u'mela'o. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, u'mela'o.
Let us turn forward to Lechadodi as we welcome Shabbat into our midst, into our hearts, and into our minds. Lechadodi, page 138.
Lechadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi, Lechadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmiyanu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'Shem u'tiferet v'lithilah. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu b'necha, Ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'makashava tekilah. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, ki va'oreh kumi uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alachti nigilah. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Let us rise.
Boi b'shalom at Erev Shabbat, Gam besimcha u'besohala, Toch emunei am segula. Boi kala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela.
So as we have welcomed Shabbat with Lecha Dodi, this beautiful song, and it's just amazing the beautiful colors that are starting to enter our sanctuary at this time of day, and to allow us to soak these warm, beautiful orange and yellow and whatever colors we choose to describe them as into our hearts and into our minds. I'd like to now invite Robin and Stephen Cohen up to light our Shabbat candle. I saw that look of joy, of absolute bliss. So we light our Shabbat candles. You're welcome. You got to light them first. Then you say the blessing.
I think that's right.
Amen. Let's take a moment and wish one another a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Cinematographer here.
Switching her off.
Can't be done.
This feels much more comfortable. Some people have taken up the air conditioning offer, and it costs you no more in your membership. Denny, I like it that you laugh. So welcome everybody, and welcome those of you who are joining us on our live streaming. We appreciate that everybody who's come, especially on these heat days. That's mammoth. Neil, how far did you have to walk in this heat?
Into the car and then
So far. Oh. Yeah, so you lucky duck. Me too. I had a super long walk from the car inside the gates to the... Because when I saw that the gates weren't working, I said to the guys at the front, security, I said, are the back gates working? They said, we don't know. I said, well, I'm going to go try. Because otherwise I would have gone home and said, good luck, girls. But I am delighted that you've chosen to come, because it is a hardship for so many people, and we mustn't forget what a hardship the heat can be. And you've heard me say this many times. I remember this shul, this sanctuary, before the air conditioners were here, and we had these little, they were table fans, but they were attached to the wall where the holes are, and the power points is where they were plugged in. They're just the little ones. And you had the space heaters on the other side. And they were about that big, the space heaters, and that's what we did, summer and winter. I will give credit where credit is due. Thank you, Amanda Mace, for getting the air conditioning. You can imagine the first time I walked into the sanctuary and I saw the air conditioning, I was like, wow, Temple David has advanced. But it is, and I think every shul needs to appreciate when on hot days or very cold days, and it's onerous for people to leave what is most comfortable in their spaces to come to shul and to be with one another, to celebrate Shabbat or to celebrate the festivals and to be together. Is everything okay, Clive? Okay. You walked with the mission. I was like hoping we didn't have to evacuate or anything. Thank you. Let us continue with Shalom Aleichem on page 142. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashamayim, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Amlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem LaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Amlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Muni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Teichem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Let us rise for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144. And while we rise for the Chatzi Kaddish, it's just a reminder that the Chatzi Kaddish is the Chatzi, meaning half, or Chetzi in modern Hebrew. It's this place break. It's a placeholder. It says to us, okay, so now we're moving to the next section of the service. It's taking us from the warm-ups of the Kabbalat Shabbat to get us in the mood for Shabbat into the call to prayer, the Baruch Hu, and the main part of the service. The Baruch Hu on page 146 after the Chatzi Kaddish. I hadn't forgotten of page 144 of the Chatzi Kaddish.
Baruch et Adonai, Amevorah. Baruch Adonai, Amevorah, Amevorah, Le'olam va'ed. Amevorah, Amevorah, Le'olam va'ed.
The Ma'ariv Arivim, the blessing that brings about the evening, on page 149. Praise to you, eternal our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the time and tide of light. You guide the current of day into night, and heaven spans to infinity. You set its course for eternity. Praise to you, eternal our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu Otanu limadeta, Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shofenu, Uv'kumenu na'asiach b'chukecha, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, נגע יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated. Page 154.
Thank you. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אלוקים מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטפטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, Adonai Elohim Emet.
On the top of page 157, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally, eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Our Song of Freedom, Mi Chamocha, on page 158.
Ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai. Mi kamoka balim Adonai, mi kamoka nedar bakodesh, nora tekilot o sepele, nora tekilot o sepele, malachutecha ra'u banecha, bokeh yam lifnei Moshe uMiriam, ze'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai imoch le'olam va'ed.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Hashkivenu on page 160, a prayer of shelter. which says from life's storms, but I'm going to share from life's heat. I think we're in for a long, hot summer. Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim.
Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha v'taknenu b'etz tova milfanecha v'hoshienu lema'an shemecha v'hagen b'adenu v'hasem aleinu oyev devev v'cherev ra v'yagon v'cham. Cham is heat. V'harachek mimenu v'avon v'fesha u'betzel knafecha v'tasdirenu ki el shomrenu matzilenu ata. Ki el chanun v'rachum ata u'shmor tetenu v'enu l'chayim u'l'shalom me'ata v'ad olam. Baruch ata Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. May God bring peace, a shelter of peace that is spread over us, over all your people, Israel, and over Yerushalayim, over Jerusalem. V'shamru.
V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת תינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Let us rise for the Amidah on page 166.
Adonai sefatai tiftachu piyah kitavilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftachu piyah kitavilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor HaNorah El Olam Komer Chasadim Shobim Vekomer HaKol Bezat
page 108. יהי לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
ועל כל יושבי תבל, may God bring peace to the entire world, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
I know we're an Ashkenazi community, but you know. Our parasha this Shabbat is Vayeshev. I know because of the Bar Mitzvah last Shabbat afternoon, because the Shabbat in the afternoon tells us what the next Shabbat parasha is going to be. It says Vayeshev. And it is described, certainly within rabbinic circles, as one of the darkest moments and darkest emotional moments in the Torah. Do you know why? It's described that way from the psychological and emotional points of view. Because a family breaks apart. And the family breaks apart because Joseph is hated by his brothers. Jacob grieves the loss of his beloved wife, Rachel, and the brothers, they feel unseen, unloved, and overshadowed because of Yosef, because of Joseph. And by the end of the parasha, what happens to Joseph? He's chucked in a pit. He's thrown in a pit, sold into slavery, and taken into Egypt. And the Torah emphasizes this idea of empty, because a pit is empty, there's no water in it whatsoever. And the rabbis take that and focus on a spiritual emptiness, not just a physical emptiness, but a spiritual emptiness and a void. It is a portion, a Torah portion, that is filled with shadows, the shadows of jealousy, of betrayal, and yet at the same time introduces something completely different that the Torah has never really experienced anything before, and that is dreams, which still today confound us. For those people who are able to remember dreams, and I have to be honest with you, I go in waves. Sometimes I know that I dream, but sometimes I never remember dreams, and then sometimes they're as vivid as the life that I'm leaving. But dreams are fragile, in my opinion. They can be mocked, they can be crushed, they can be dismissed. But in Yeshev, dreams become the seeds of what we understand as redemption. Even when Joseph is powerless, first as a young person, as a slave, and finally as a prisoner, his dreams and his ability to interpret them and keep him connected to something bigger. Joseph carries a spark of vision, a spark of possibility, even when he himself cannot even see anything more. And this is where Vayeshev connects to Hanukkah. When is Hanukkah? Sunday night, yeah. Gosh, for those of you who are coming out, be brave. Let me rephrase. For those of you who are coming to Hanukkah it's likely to be a J-Hub, from what I understand, where it is every year. I'm not giving out any secrets. It's going to be hot. Bring water, bring hats, bring sunscreen. But this is where Vayeshev connects with Hanukkah. Hanukkah is the festival of lights. Adam Sandler told us that, but we know. But because for Joseph and and his family, it's become a time, his world is full of darkness. Fast forward a little bit in time, and I know I'm going to jump around. I'm choosing to jump around specifically to Hanukkah. The Hellenistic Empire banned Jewish practice, desecrated the temple, tried to extinguish our neshama, the Jewish soul. The Maccabees were few, they were tired, they were uncertain, yet they held on to one thing, a dream. A dream of what Israel could be. They did what Joseph did. Joseph refused to surrender what we call an inner light, even when he was surrounded by darkness. Now go back to that pit, the darkness of the pit. His story reminds us that redemption begins quietly with belief, stubborn belief, that despair isn't an end to any of our stories. The Hashmoneans did not know whether their rebellion would succeed. They did not know whether oil would last, and I know that that's a story. They did not know but they acted anyway because they carried that same dream, that same refusal to let darkness dictate the future. But Joseph and the Maccabees teach us some truth. Light is not the opposite to darkness. It is what we choose to bring into darkness. And I've chosen that precisely. Hanukkah asks us not how to remove the darkness from the world, but how to add light. One candle, one act, one moment of courage at a time. And Vayeshev asks us, can we keep dreaming even when life feels like an empty pit? Can we carry a spark within us, like Joseph, when we cannot see a way ahead? Joseph's dreams do not come true immediately. In fact, things get worse before they get better. But the Torah teaches us resilience, faith, imagination, are holy acts themselves. The Maccabees, according to legend and according to the book of Maccabees, lit the menorah with just a single small jar of oil, not because it was enough, but because it was hopeful, tikva. Our lives too have moments of vayeshev, moments when relationships strain, when dreams feel distant, or when darkness settles. But Hanukkah reminds us that a single light, a single choice, a single act of faith can change everything. So as we read Vayeshev this week and tomorrow morning, and we light the Chanukiot beginning on Sunday night, let us carry Joseph's dream and the Maccabees' courage into our lives. May we be bringers of light in times of doubt, dreamers in uncertainty, and guardians of hope in a world that, quite frankly, still needs it. Shabbat Shalom and Chanukah Sameach. Robbie, I've invited you to open our ark for us. You and Jirapun have done some wonderful work this week, and just to acknowledge that with helping to take some of the toys and everything to homes in need. Those are the toys that are not going to our mitzvah project, Wansley House. They're going somewhere else. Page 586. And if we are able, we rise.
Erev Shabbat Adon Hakol, Latei Gudula Lemazeh Reishi, Sherut Shemai Reseraves, Umashab Yakaro Bashamayim Imam, Ushiyana Tuzo Mekopein Bomir, Ueloheinu Eino, Vahanachnu Korim, Umishpachim Umodim, Lifnei Melech, Malchei HaMafik, HaKadosh Baruch.
So we turn forward now to Kaddish Tom, but a reading prior, page 595. It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who brought wholeness to our life has gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world. In each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one, whose life, now ended, brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone, and every life finds purpose. The Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. For Shiva, we share the name of Edward Flauman, and tomorrow Shigel. And for the Shloshim, Seymour Wolfinger, Miriam Harold, and Kay Rosen. For our yard sites, we remember Hilary Siegel, sister-in-law of Alison Loon, Jack Waxler, father of Yvain Feinberg, Leah Austin, mother of Warren, Thelma Colthop, sister of Brenda Austin, Eric Silbert, father of Hilary Silbert, Mark Greenfield, grandfather of Hilary Garnelis, Esther Frank, mother of Lorraine Sivan, Sari Solomon, grandmother of Amanda Mace, and that's who Sari Mace was named for. Dina Kahan, grandmother of John Katz and Diana Drachenberg, and Paula Strauss, grandmother of John Katz and Diana Drachenberg. If you would like to remember a loved one for Shiva, Shloshim, or for Yahrzeit, please do remember their names out loud or in your hearts at this time. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may the memory of the righteous be for a blessing as we join together for Kaddish Yatom. Gadal v'kadash shemei Rabbah, Yamad Yibrach Yotei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agalah yiskan karib v'meruv.
Amen.
Yehei shemei Rabbah v'barach l'olam v'lamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, Yitada v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah
Brichu.
Leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiran v'yama v'imuru.
Amen.
Yehei shlam araba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imuru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mrama, uyaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imuru. Amen. Hamakom yimechem echem b'toch sha'ah havlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved in Zion, Jerusalem, and around the world. And we say, Amen.
Amen.
If you wish, you may be seated for just a few announcements. Tomorrow is the last day of TDRS for the year. Who can believe that? It's absolutely amazing. It's dumbfounded. I'm really dumbfounded that it's gone. The year has gone so quickly. Who can believe? And as for the little ones that are coming, and their whole program is going to be based in Hanukkah for tomorrow. So I'm not sure they'll get up to open the ark for the end of the service, but hopefully they will be there's a regular service at 10:30, followed by coffee club at Monty's on 10th. And I know everybody gets there, even though we say 12:30, everybody gets there when they get there. But it's nice to have something to aim for. 4:30 on Sunday begins the Hanukkah community celebration. I'm not sure how many people will get there, given that it's 40 degrees. It's going to be 40 degrees, and I looked at the temperature of when it hits its peak. It's that at that time, but don't let that dissuade you. I was speaking to Clive, maybe at the Temple David stand, we might just bring an esky with bottles of cold water that we will make sure that we have for anybody who comes. Temple David members who come will secretly give you a bottle of ice cold water. It's part of your membership. Monday Mahjong. Tuesday afternoon, I thought just so that people get a sense of some of the things that I do in the community, and anybody can drop in. You're welcome to. Nobody's going to say, oh no, you're not allowed to come and hear Rabbi Ettlinger's talk at the Morris Zeph at home. Tuesday afternoons at 1:30, on usually the first, even though it's not this time, the first Tuesday of the month, I give a talk at the Morris Zeph at home. And it's in low care, so please come along. I'll probably be talking about, because why not, conversion. Why not? It seems to be a topic at the moment that's on my mind, given the last rabbinic conference that I was at. And then Wednesday, Israeli dancing, and it was the only date that suited Trevor and a bunch of people for the presentation of his trip to the UPJ mission to Israel at 7 o'clock here. I'm working with Trevor on a presentation for that. And then, of course, the Hanukkah next Friday night. I don't know why I said Sunday. Next Friday night. And during that, we will officially consecrate the memorial board for Ken Rose up there, and afterwards have dessert. And then the Shacharit service will include the Bar Mitzvah of Jake. I failed to mention that tomorrow morning will also include a call-up for Jonathan Kerr, who will be called to Torah in honor of his Bar Mitzvah. His mother's a member here, his father's a member there at PHC. He had his Bar Mitzvah at PHC, but we want to honor him, and we'll call him to Torah here to honor his Bar Mitzvah. So that'll be tomorrow morning if you'd like to come to that. Jake is next Saturday. Jake will be in shul tomorrow morning. So if you haven't seen Jake, he's about Jeffrey's height. And believe it or not, he likes to play basketball. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Any other announcements? Community announcements. If you haven't booked in, and you know, there's also the UIA movie with what's it called, Gina? The Road Between Us, which is very good. It's a hard choice to make. Go to I think there are still tickets available. The Road Between Us with the Tibbons, Amnon Tibbon. You know, that's, if you want to choose to go to that or choose to come to Trevor, it's a hard decision. We understand that, you know, in the community, these multiple events always at the same time. Sometimes it can be avoided, sometimes it can't. And it's just one of those things. So that there are multiple events. So if you choose to go, we understand if you choose to go to another event at the same time as our event, you know, they're all amazing things to choose to go to. Either way, you're not missing out on anything, because wherever you are, you're going to have an extraordinary experience. Our final song is Adon Olam. We're going to do 3 verses only. 1, 2, and the last verse. 625. And at first I want to please thank CSG on your way out. Thanks CSG on your way out. And I'd like to thank Yehudit and Sarah for co-leading services. Gina, please get better soon. I can hear, but it's not 100% because I could still hear you coughing during services. I know you're not infectious. It's bacterial, not viral. That's an important distinction. And Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Adon Olam Hashem Malak B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa V'chetz Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam Ve'acharei Kechlot HaKol Levado Nora Adon Olam Ve'hu Haya Ve'hu Hoveh Ve'hu Yeh Tifara Adon Olam Hashem Malach B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa V'chetz Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam Be'ado Afkid Ruchi Be'et Ishan Ve'ira Adon Olam Ve'im Ruchi Geviati Adon Ali Ve'lo Ira Adon Olam Hashem Malach B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa V'chetz Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.